late Tuesday afternoon, the U.S. government remained locked in a showdown over surveillance of its citizens. Lawmakers failed to renew the controversial Patriot Act, and three key provisions expired. Now at the forefront is the USA Freedom Act that passed the U.S. Senate on Tuesday. Advocates say it protects both freedom and security, curtailing some of the NSA spy programs. But opponents say it's just more of the same. Here with the latest, let's bring in Jim Spellman, CCTV correspondent. And Jim, the new legislation now awaits the president's signature. It will then become law. Take us through this process, and could you start by telling us why the Patriot Act was replaced in the first place?
Sure. This story really begins about 2 years ago when former national security agent contractor Edward Snowden began revealing information, including some information about broad data collection programs the NSA was using to track terrorists. One of the programs monitored information, they call it metadata, about phone calls made by tens of millions of innocent people without warrants. A backlash ensued. The White House set out to make some modest reforms to the programs. The changes haven't been enough for some senators who use procedural maneuvers to temporarily block the vote. As you mentioned, as a result, several of these provisions of the controversial acts expired Sunday night. So for a few days, spy agencies in the U.S. have had a few less tools to use. Tuesday, the Senate managed to pass this new bill. In a way, really what we're seeing is, for the first time, this pendulum between security and privacy swinging a little bit back towards privacy since the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001 on.
So, Jim, how does the new law change the government's surveillance capabilities?
Well, it will move the storage of phone call metadata away from the NSA into the hands of the phone companies. The NSA can still examine the records. The process will change. The new law also changes the way the special court that oversees these spy programs operates, making it a little bit more transparent. But even advocates of this new law admit these changes are relatively minor.
Right, and Jim, we know that the NSA surveillance capabilities have had their critics here in the United States as well as around the world. And we know that some of the provisions, some of the more intrusive provisions of the Patriot Act have been rolled back. Is that going to be enough to satisfy critics of the NSA?
I doubt it. I mean, for the critics of these programs, these changes still allow the U.S. government too much power, too little oversight. I think this is likely as well to be an issue in the upcoming presidential race. The leader of the critics in the Senate, who we heard from at the top of the show, Rand Paul, he's running for president. He doubtlessly will make this an issue. So I think we're going to see more debate about this, if not more actual reform.